All right, we're back.
I'll be back. It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I
Gotta get it all going again. Jeez. It said fake engagement.
I can't wait for you. I get it for myself. So many places to be. I got plenty. Act like you've been here before we start trending. Don't mistake me for a lame or a goofy. Rockstar life is like a movie. Hollywood, Hollywood, where you be at?
I remember when I used to drive a Fiat. Now they looking for me like a Ray Epps. It's a conspiracy how I keep on getting checks. Hey, this money keep on falling like it's dominoes. Special delivery, and I got a lot to blow. Where I come up with clever lines like that. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back in the Thunderdome. Yes, like I said, we're going to try to get out of here at around 8 a.m. because Big Zeus has to change to his workout schedule. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. Why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? It was quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest, the most honest person on social media. The second H is because I'm humble, the most humble person on social media. And the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Thank you, Rick. W's in the chat for Rick always rizzing up the live, all right? Because that goes a long way, to be quite honest with you. Now, many of you are very, very familiar with the way that I run this broadcast. It's actually spectacular. It's magical. It's theatrical. It's sensational and diabolical all at the same time. And I do this in a way that most folks, they don't comprehend it, but they'll think about it later and they'll go, okay, I get what Big Zeus was saying. What we get out here and do, and we do it one day at a time, is we're saving this country every day, one conversation at a time. Sometimes we have to talk to some of the, some of the villains out here, so to speak, in order to get the point across and make it a situation. Because these villains out here, believe it or not, they speak up. These villains, you know who they are: Tiny Tank Top Tim, the DJs. Who else are they? The Bears. They speak up for what's going on inside of the cult. So it's the same demon every single time. The one that's ultimately causing this country to go down in history in the wrong direction. And so what I say is this: if you are a Trump supporter out there, right, you might want to leave this live and go hang out with those fake TikTok hosts. You know how you know they're fake? You go into their lives, and how many people are in their lives when they go live? It's about 20 liars, all right? You go into these lives, 20 liars, just a bunch of miserable people. I've never seen so many miserable people. These people tell me all the time, Zeus, I'm happily married. No, you're not, because if you were happily married, you wouldn't be sitting on TikTok with 20 losers. I mean, it's obvious that nobody is enjoying hanging out with you and being around you when all you do is worship Donald Trump, right? And so what I do is I tell people like that the truth, and it's designed to liberate their minds and hopefully get them out of that cult so that they can go on and become more productive members of society, right? And so if you don't want to be freed from your cult, Maga, do me a favor and leave this live, and you could go hang out with these fake TikTok hosts, but not over here. I'm going to tell you the truth whether you like it or not, all right? And it will hurt your feelings. All right, W. Bernard, thank you. Thank you all for rizzing up the live. I call that rizzing up the live, because I'm the Rizzler, by the way, and at 1600 Pennsylvania Ave, I keep telling you all the album's coming, and I haven't released it yet, but there's some tweaks that I got to get straight, and there's some connections that I have to build in order to make sure that when I do drop this thing, it's going to be something we're all going to be proud of, all right? So yeah, but like I was saying, if you do not want me to hurt your feelings this morning, leave right now, because sparks are going to start flying, all right, in the Thunderdome, all right? And so get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here,
yeah,
then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned,
if
you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And with that, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed, and everyone's in here at their own risk. Listen, if you don't like my honesty and me just being me, my authentic self, leave. All right, just leave. You don't need to report this live. I get so fed up listening to these crybabies. I call them cry bullies, okay? A cry bully is what MAGA is. They sit out here and they go around harassing and bullying people, but then when the same energy is return, then they turn around and play the victim. I call them cry bullies. All right, and this is why I say God's judgment is truly upon this nation, MAGA, because you all can't even see your hypocrisy. I'm totally convinced you can't see it because you're spiritually blind. All right, or as your dear leader likes to say,
you're either stupid or you hate the country.
Yeah. Dublin Jack, I'm not godless. I am actually God. Zeus is a god. So if you go look it up, and that means guardian of Olympus and divine. All right, for you simple-minded nincompoops out there. W Zeus, that was easy. W Zeus, I just came up with that. So there's a couple of things that are going on. One, I get so tired of listening to these folks on the right crying about the Democrats. It's getting old. All right, MAGA, you are the real problem in this country. The violence going on in this country, it's you. Yeah. And I'm not going to let go of the song. Eminem made the song White America, and I played it yesterday, but I don't think it landed very well. I refuse to be gaslit, MAGA, into believing that the greatest threat in this country are immigrants and people of color. Not when I'm looking on the news and I see all these, these serial unalivers, Jeffrey, you know who he is. You know who he is, the one that was eating up people. The ones that are blowing, the buildings and doing the booms. You got to be careful on TikTok. You can't always say it. The greatest tease in this country, you look at it, who is this? Usual suspect, white male. Okay, well, why isn't MAGA being open and honest and being transparent about the violence they're inflicting on not just the United States, but I could actually argue the entire world? Yeah, what Donald Trump is doing to those people that they say are in these boats coming into the country, not even giving them due process, just using military strikes, that's violence. Yeah. And so what I'm not going to do is sit here and entertain it anymore. All the violence, most of it, 65% according to the Cato Institute, you could go look it up. Am I right, Val? It comes from the right wing. It comes from the right wing. And who represents the right wing? MAGA. And I call them, and the thing that gets me about you so-called hypocrites, you so-called Christians, and I'm not going to let this go, you're grinder crashers. Does anybody on the right know what grinder is? All right, watch them all get real quiet. Does anybody on the right know what grinder is? I mean, the more I get into this and I go, every time y'all come into a town, every time MAGA comes into town, grinder gets crashed. What is that about? What is that about? Do y'all have something y'all want to tell us, MAGA? Is there serious? Because now I'm starting to think to myself, the more you're outraged about things going on in the LGBTQ plus community, I have no other choice but to come to the conclusion you're secretly out there participating in it. And it is now time for you to start living your truth. All right? Yeah. You don't want to come out and just openly admit that you love who you love. All right. And you want to beat the Democrats up to a pulp. You want to beat the Democrats up to a pulp. You'll threaten violence against us, even though we're not being violent. All we want is for Americans to have things like health care, right? Have access to affordable education, right? But y'all don't want that. Y'all want to promote violence. And you hear Kristi Noem yesterday. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to warm up the lake of fire because they are trying to convince me that the left, get this, the left is telling people to go target ICE officials. This is what I'm hearing, and I go, I have never ever heard anybody, and I'm pretty divisive myself. I'm diabolical, but I've never ever, and even I've had my good friend Nutty up here, and Nutty he goes by Antifa. I've never heard him say for anybody to do anything violent, number one, but then number two, go after. No, and I gotta always remind MAGA, what do you think will happen if you're going into communities with no mask on? With mask on, covering up your identity. What do you think that does to the people in these communities? You're scaring them. Do you understand me, MAGA? You are terrifying and scaring people, right? So when you put this kind of fear into the community, you've broken the one thing most of us expect to have with law enforcement, which is trust. We don't know if you're really ICE agents. We don't know if you're really affiliated with law enforcement. And when we get onto social media platforms, we look at the rhetoric y'all are saying, and it's all violence. So what are you expecting folks to do? I'll tell you what. they're going to be very hesitant to try to get to know who you are and work with you because they don't know what's going on. There's a language barrier in some cases. You turn on the TV, another white man does this, another white man does that. You know, a white guy told me the other day, Dark Maga Scott, the greatest threat to this country. He said, white liberal women. This is what he told me. Dark Maga Scott said this to me. And I said, wow, y'all can't take accountability for nothing. MAGA, you can't take accountability for anything. Here you guys have the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. And the entire country is falling apart. And guess who y'all want to blame? The Democrats and Joe Biden. And the sad part is this. The supporters out there actually buy this stuff. Y'all don't have the ability to critically think. Someone told me yesterday, and I went into attacking style. Zeus, I caught you lying, and I got to give it to you, Zeus. You own the fact that you didn't get it right. And I'm like, well, I'm not lying. And if I get it wrong, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm sorry. So if I'm wrong, that's why they call me Triple H, because I understand that you can't always be right as a human, right? And he goes, but you know what, Zeus? While you are able to admit that you're wrong, what I don't like about your show is the lake of fire. You think I give a darn about your feelings right now? While my utility bill is through the roof, I was promised that it would be cut in half. You think I give a crap about your feelings right now? When you said credit card interest would be capped at 10% and it's not, it's going actually the other way. You think I give a crap about your feelings when I'm watching y'all go around here and terrorize the whole country wearing masks? You think I care about your feelings? You think I care about your feelings? When I was promised that these conflicts that are breaking out all over the world would end? Have you no understanding of what's going on in this country? Do you think I care about your feelings? When you allowed your dear leader to disrespect our men and women in uniform by allowing a war criminal, Vladimir Putin, into this country, having them roll out the red carpet for him, you think I care about your feelings? Because I really don't. Because you don't even care about them. You think I care, and this is the one that gets me. You think I care about your feelings when I sit on this app and listen to all of you tell me things like, oh, I've worked and I've done a lot of things to protect children, Zeus. Don't you dare question my Christianity. Then I say, okay, well, where are the Epstein files at? Why didn't you care about it when Biden was in office? Why didn't the Democrats? Oh, okay, so you don't really care, all right? And so what I'm going to do, and I'll take great pleasure in doing it, ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up this lake of fire, all right? I don't care. I could care less, MAGA, about your so-called feelings. You don't have feelings. You are nothing but vassals of transgression. And that's why I am sending all of you with great pleasure straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep telling you MAGA demons, to be quiet and be silent. Now, stories. There's stories going on. There's real issues in this. There's real issues going on in this country, and one of them is what's going on at the agency, the Social Security Agency, and we're on the verge of a possible government shutdown. And Donald Trump, he could care less. He could care less how many people are going to be harmed as a result of the government shutting down. And the Democrats, we just want to make sure there's some money in there, subsidies and stuff like that, so that those who need access to health care will get it, because not everybody is as rich as Tiny Tank Top Tom in my chat section, who believes that he lives like LeBron James on a $50,000 a year salary. And we'll get into that later today if I have time. Tiny Tank Top 10, if you don't mind, I asked you yesterday to go get your Excel spreadsheet that includes your revenue and your expenditures. And I want to go over that today because I got to get to the bottom of this. Either you're living a quality life that a lot of us maybe need to start learning from you about, or you're sitting on this app pretending like you got it when you don't. But I'm going to get to the bottom of it because I've launched a full-scale investigation. W. Zeus. So, and this is, I'm going to be brief. You can go look this up. New York Times, a diminished Social Security workforce and its customers feel the strain. Rebecca Walker noticed she was short on her July rent, and it quickly became clear that her monthly disability payments never arrived from Social Security, as it had in the past 16 years. The agency claimed in an online message that she had been overpaid by almost $50,000, and she needed to pay it back. Until she could prove otherwise, guess what? An American citizen was cut off from getting their Social Security benefits. This is sad in Memphis. Miss Walker, who has complex heart abnormalities and one functioning lung, headed to her local Social Security office for answers, waited for about 30 minutes before they turned her away. The earliest appointment slot wasn't for 2 weeks. Quote, "At this point, I'm crying and I'm asking and I'm shaking," said Miss Walker, 41, who is divorced. "My rent is due that week." Do you hear this, Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom? These are real situations that are happening. And notice she didn't get up here and say Joe Biden and the Democrats, because she can see what it is. All right. Her disability checks provide crucial support, covering the $1,500 she pays each month for the home in Memphis that she shares with her 3 teenage children. She is able to hold a part-time job at a law office, but it's not nearly enough to make ends meet. Do you get this, Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom? While you're over there doing your little job shadowing gig in that closet you work in, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, you and Maga Queen, your mascot. And I could probably get into trouble for that, but I'm being sincere, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want to be this upset. But these folks, I'm not going to be gaslit by MAGA into believing there's a world out there that is peace and harmony when the rest of us are seeing what's really happening, all right? The country's falling apart, all right? Nearly 3 months later, Miss Walker has received a couple of letters, but still unclear on where her case stands. The Social Security Administration, the nation's social insurance program, whose 74 million beneficiaries includes retirees, survivors, and the disabled, has long wrestled with customer service challenges because of the chronic understaffing and budget constraints. And that was before Elon Musk went in there and reduced the workforce by, get this, 12%. How many of you Trump supporters are out there collecting Social Security? Identify yourselves, please. WZ. They don't want to admit they're out here collecting these Social Security checks. Today, Social Security field offices, the public-facing workhorse of the agency, with 1,200 locations across the country, continue to adjust to their new normal. They are dealing with diminished workforce that has needed to shapeshift as the new commissioner, Frank Bizzagino, whatever you say his name is, tries to remold a crucial safety net into a digital first-age organization that continues to serve those who prefer a more analog experience. Nearly everyone agrees that the 90-year-old agency, powered by a complex and aging technology infrastructure, is in need of a reboot. But shrinking the staff before making technological improvements has made an already difficult situation worse. Particularly for Social Security's most vulnerable beneficiaries, many field staffers, legal advocates, and researchers have said the frontline workers' morale has already been on low for years, and they are being asked on a daily basis to do more with less. So Trump's administration is bringing down just hell on the people who are working at Social Security, which is translating into those of you out there collecting those Social Security checks because you need them and you're not illegal. You're having to wait months before you get access to what you're entitled to, your benefits. And Donald Trump, get this, he's over there having the military, the silent military platoon, the Marine platoon. He got them entertaining him, doing their little drills and entertaining him. And he's acting like he's really being the president by, guess what, blaming the Democrats and the radical left while y'all out here suffering. And guess what, MAGA? You're too blind to see it, but the rest of us do. So what I'll do is this. Number one, y'all could go finish reading the article yourselves. But then number two, let's go ahead and warm up the lake of fire, ladies and gentlemen, because this doesn't take long. While Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom is out here acting like he's a millionaire and blaming everybody else for their own situation without being able to understand. A lot of folks are out here struggling. They're entitled to these benefits. They pay their taxes so that they can get the benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these Trump supporters where they belong, straight to hell. I don't care.
Silence, you Maga demon.
You know what? And let's get into some so-called fake outrage, because Donald Trump is just, I've never seen this in my life. He doesn't work. He does not work. He literally just gaslights the country, and he must be paranoid. He's lashing out at everything. You hear what he did yesterday? He lashed out at the UN. He's going off on the speakers, right? He goes off on the escalator. He's going off on just everyone. All right. He can't take accountability. And so we're going to get into escalator gate. All right. And this is Donald Trump, explaining how he feels like he was somehow the victim during the UN situation where he went there and totally embarrassed the country. And I'll just be the first to say, Trump, you're not the victim. We, the American people in the world, we're the victim, because we really shouldn't have to babysit a grown man like this. So let's go ahead and listen to this ridiculous story. Now, Donald Trump really thought somebody turned the escalator off in an attempt to sabotage him, right? So instead of doing what he's supposed to be doing, right, lowering the grocery prices, cutting our utility bills in half and stuff like that, he decides to launch a full-scale investigation into the UN and threatens to have folks arrested. All right, you can't make this up. But Lawrence O'Donnell yesterday, he summarized all of this and just pointed out very well how ridiculous this is. So let's get this on the air and get this on the record.
And the reviews are Donald Trump's deranged speech to the United Nations yesterday. Deranged was the word chosen by the British newspaper, the Daily Mirror, which also called Donald Trump the world's most powerful man baby on the front page. The subheadline says Trump rants to the UN about climate, migrants, Gaza, Sadiq's Sharia London, escalators, marble floors, and teleprompters. The world's most powerful man baby called for an investigation of why the escalator at the United Nations stopped while Donald Trump was on it. The UN complied and found that the Trump staffer assigned to record video of Donald Trump's escalator ride probably stopped the escalator by mistake as he walked backwards to at the top of the escalator. The United Nations issued a statement about the investigation, saying a subsequent investigation, including a readout of the machine's central processing unit, indicated that the escalator had stopped after a built-in safety mechanism on the comb step was triggered at the top of the escalator. The safety mechanism is designed to prevent people or objects accidentally being caught and stuck in or pulled into the gearing.
So when I heard this, I knew this is where we are as a country. And imagine, this is the president of the United States. The man doesn't even know how the escalator stopped. He couldn't have asked, hey, did anybody press the button around here? He couldn't have asked anybody around there to get to the bottom of that, and immediately started demanding folks be arrested. Donald Trump, the person that did it, works for you. Please get Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to go and arrest him. Because this person, all they were doing was trying to record you, going up there and embarrassing the country. And, I don't think it was an accident. Yeah, I don't think it was an accident. All right, get out there and follow through on the threats you were making and arrest the staffer of yours who backed into whatever that button was and forced you to walk up the escalator in that diaper. Yeah, that's where all the focus should be. All right, but guess what? You won't do it. So it was fake outrage. It was all... I'm surprised you didn't blame Joe Biden and the Democrats for it. Trump, I'm actually proud of you, right? But you know what's even more alarming is this. His supporters, they see it now, and they know the man if he would lash out like this over an escalator, imagine what he would do with all these other little things that are going on in the country. CK, and then what happened in Dallas. Do you really think he understands what's going on? Huh? Or do you think perhaps the DOJ and the FBI are perhaps lying to him and participating in what we all see is happening with those Epstein files, another cover-up? Hey, Trump, why not release the Epstein files while we're at it, right? You won't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure I do this. Join me in sending these Trump supporters who continue to get caught in their own chaos. Yeah, this is a mess that they make, and when it comes back on them, they are too ignorant to see they're the reason it's happening. All right, join me in sending them where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence, you Maga demon.
Threat in this country is? I'll tell you what the greatest threat in the country is. This is a good example of what I mean, greatest threat. What this, they call these people, they call them, y'all heard the term Karen? Y'all ever heard the term Karen? Yeah, you may have seen this before, but I caught wind of this. This is a Karen out here in the wild, terrorizing innocent people. MAGA fears what they don't understand. Get that. You hear me? Let me say that again. And this is knowledge. This is true. This is true for everybody. MAGA fears what they don't understand. All right? And I was in a live yesterday with Osa. Osa, you had a guest come up there, and I just listened because when I go into those other lives on the right, I'm way past the arguing and the yelling and stuff. If I can't just really have a conversation, I'm just going to probably hit mute and get, but every now and then my ears pick up on little things. And I got to say this to the white folks out there that are supporting Donald Trump, that feel like racism and DEI has actually been flipped, and now they're starting to act like they're the victims, right? One lady in there, she said, I'm a white woman, and, I just get so tired of people calling me racist. That's what she said. And this is kind of like why they're supporting Trump, because they think Trump is going to somehow restore them to a place in society where folks won't call them racist anymore. All right. Or I don't know where that place was. All right. And I just, and I said for a second, and I said, welcome to America, ma'am. And I didn't get to say it to her, but I wanted to. Welcome to America, ma'am. Especially if you're a person of color. And right now, you start to kind of think there's always a target on your back, right? You start thinking there's always a target on your back, right? Imagine what that feels like, because you'll understand where I'm coming from when I say this, all right? WZ. Welcome to America, where everyone feels like they have a target on their back, right? And now it's not even, because of your race or your color. It could just simply be because you're a Democrat. Yeah, the president of the United States, get this, keeps putting targets on our back. So what I'm going to do is show you all what a Karen in the wild sounds like. And she's going up to a woman, and she doesn't even know what ethnicity this woman is, just making all kinds of accusations and stereotypes, and just making all kinds of, this is to me, this is abuse. This is abuse. So let's listen to this.
You know what? Because you're an illegal, and you know what? You don't live in Paramount, and you're door dashing. You know what? Why are you entitled to be here with an illegal car? Go ahead.
I don't know.
You know what? I'll do that.
Just is homophobic?
No speak English.
Yeah.
So she asked her, are you Islamophobic? And she goes, no speaking English. Like it's, mocking people who are speaking Spanish. And she calls the car illegal too. This is crazy.
To be here with an illegal car. Go ahead.
I don't know.
You know what? I'll do that.
Just is homophobic?
No speak English.
Yeah.
Well, then speak it.
But why?
But why? You know what? You're in Paramount. You know what? Go speak your language back in Mexico.
Oh.
You know what? Exactly. Hey, you're taking away jobs. You think it's funny? Okay.
She's taking a picture of her license plate.
I can get in your face too.
Thank you.
Wow. Terrorizing people of color, making all kinds of stereotypical judgment calls, assuming people are from places in the world they're not, and walking around here with the spirit of entitlement, right? She ain't been, I'm looking at it, it looks like she needs to take that same energy, if I could be frank, and maybe go use it to do something more productive, like, lift some weights, right? But she's not doing that because the devil's got her mind. Yeah, and I bet you this woman sits in church, goes to church every Sunday, worships God, but then gets out here and works for the devil Monday through Sunday. Yeah. And this is, to me, this is the problem. This same woman doesn't see herself as a threat. She's basically trying her best to get this woman picked up by ICE, thrown on the ground, separated from her children, perhaps, right? And get this, the woman is just working for DoorDash, trying to give somebody their food. This woman right here is willing to ruin someone's life, all because of her spirit of entitlement. That's how the devil gets a lot of y'all into this situation. And then this same woman will have a meltdown if her DoorDash, look at her, she needs some DoorDash. This same woman will have a meltdown if her DoorDash doesn't get delivered, because she's too blind and ignorant to see that the folks who are supporting you are the ones you're out here yelling at and targeting. Because guess what? No man is an island, ma'am. When are you hypocrites and you fake Christians gonna get your heads out of Donald Trump's rear end and start seeing the world around you for what it is? This isn't Neverland. This isn't a Disney movie. This is reality. But you're too blind and ignorant to get it. All right. So what I'll do is this. I'm going to help you get it. All right. And I could get into trouble because I'm supposed to be nice, but I can't sit back and watch our country go down in degradation in the name of Jesus when it's not Jesus. This is the devil. This is the devil's work. And so, you know what you say? Go ahead and warm that lake of fire up. And to the gentleman yesterday, he said he doesn't like it when I do the lake of fire. You're really not going to like this. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending this Karen in the wild that needs to get in the gym and lift some weights and perhaps fix her diet. Dr. Keisha, you know what I'm saying. Join me in sending her straight to hell.
Silence, you Maga demon.
All right, W. Zeus. Now, we have a governor's race in New Jersey, and I just got to say this. I think the Democrat candidate there is Mikey Sherrill. Make sure those of you in New Jersey, get your behinds out there and do the work it takes to save this great country of ours and vote blue for the candidate. All right, Mikey Sherrill. I don't know her, but it's too close. Donald Trump is over there piping up on social media. And I said, okay, well, if he's making a big fuss about it, this means Big Zeus needs to call it out. Do not vote for the Republican candidate in the New Jersey governor's race, all right? Because if Donald Trump supports him, what he stands for, and you know what I say, it's most likely corruption. W. Zeus. Oh, yeah, I'm done looking at Karen, all right? I'm done looking at that Karen, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let's go to the box. I only got about 30 minutes, and then I got to get up out of here, all right? Like I said, changes to my workout schedule. So, if you want to come up here, especially if you're a Trump supporter, do me a huge favor and put a 1 in the chat, all right? And I will bring you right up, all right? Because what I want to do is liberate your mind, all right? There's a song, Free Your Mind, and the rest will follow, all right? You know what that is. Is that in vogue? Is that in vogue? Yeah. And to the Trump voters out there, listen, get up here It's going to be a reasonable conversation because I tend to be a reasonable person, but if it starts devolving into just the whole I'm going to get up here, because you know what they like to do, they like to get in my box. Thank you, W Deb, and I gotta say this. I people tell me all the time I have a lot of patience, but it's really I don't know if it's that. I just don't feel like taking the bait all the time when I talk to Trump supporters because I really have learned that if you really let these people talk themselves, they're going to talk themselves into the same destination. They're going to talk themselves right into the trap they're trying to build for you. And what I like to do is to make sure they put the trap, they build the trap, they set it right, got the right tension and everything. I want to make sure they're really committed to building that trap. And then you know what I'll do? I'll say, okay, now you get in there. All right, W Zeus. No, 33. No, I don't mute people unless they get up here and they are unable to control themselves, right? And I get it. A lot of you, when you go live, and I shouldn't say this, when you go live, your audience is, you know, what it is. When you come over here, the numbers kind of do something different that they don't do on your side, and that's understandable. And you become an emotionally unstable person, right? So I find myself spending a good amount of my time trying to get you settled emotionally so that I can engage you in the conversation. Sometimes I'm successful, but I'm not successful all the time. And when I'm not successful, then that's when I'll exercise some of my executive powers that I have, because guess what? I'm the host. And I'll mute you. All right. But if you ask, all right, and you can ask some of my mutuals, they will tell you I'm way too nice. I'm way too nice. I'm way too fair. So if you can't get past me, then guess what? You're a terrible person. W Zeus. If you can't have a conversation with me, you're the problem. And that doesn't, you can ask some of the people on the right that get in my box and talk. If you can't have a civilized conversation with me, it's no longer about politics. It's really about you. All right. And your inability to listen and your ability to be truthful and honest. You know, one of the things that I'm really getting tired and frustrated with is when we're asking you simple questions and you think pivoting and talking about Joe Biden and the Democrats is going to get you somewhere. Stop it. All right. It's like in your class. I wish, you know what I want to do? And I was thinking about this. We should just take all these people, give them the test, right? And one question could be like, who was responsible for the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, right? And then you make them fill that out, and then they go to the next question. Did Donald Trump really win the 2020 election? And you fill it out with all these questions. Why hasn't Donald Trump released the Epstein files? And just give them the question. Then I should be able to grade your paper, and then I should be able to then bring you up so that I can look at you and know who I'm dealing with right now. Because this is the problem. I don't got time to do all the pivoting. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. All right? And if you get up here and you start lying, I'm going to shut it down because I got other things to do, W Zeus. They don't want to hear this. Viper, you didn't hear that. And if you did hear it, Viper, cut that source off because that source is lying to you. You know there's a lot of Russian bots out here, Viper. I get so tired of y'all folks getting up here lying. Good morning, We Buy Junk Cars. We Buy Junk Cars. Good morning. We buy junked cars. Good morning. I guess you accidentally requested. I'll go ahead and move it along. All right. So let's do this again. Can we get some Trump voters out here to get up here and stop hiding? Yeah. Let's get up here and stop hiding because you know what they do. W, Rick. You see this, DJ? I know you're in here, DJ. You see what I'm saying, DJ? What happened to all the folks out there that said they had a mandate? Remember that energy y'all came in with on January 20? We have a mandate. Ain't no mandate right now. You know it. That's why y'all quiet as church mouses. Oh, you just came in. All right. Okay, DJ. Seriously? Oh yeah. Speaking of just came in. I'm just gonna say this. And there's questions. All right. This is another example of is this true? So they're trying to prosecute former FBI Director James Comey, and the woman's name is Lindsay Halligan, and she is the interim United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Lindsay Halligan, is this true? Did she participate in the Miss Colorado USA pageant, which is tied to Donald Trump, and his control of this pageant from 1996 to 2015? Is this true? Is this true? Okay, I'll take you guys' word. I'll take the audience's word. Yeah. Wow. So, and I'm not one to peddle in trafficking and misinformation and disinformation and conspiracies. But for goodness sake, what is with all these people being tied to Trump's beauties pageant? I just found out the other day, Charlie Kirk's wife. Yeah, I just found that out. DJ, am I lying, DJ? At a certain point, you got to start going, what on earth is going on? Yeah. You're starting to find out Disney, the Disney CEO, what's his name? Iger. He named his son Robert Maxwell something. And you're going, isn't that? And he did that because he was a fan of Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, right? So he named his son after Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. I said, wow, what in the world is going on? And then, you go back in time because, he's tied to Disney. And I'm just throwing things. And you heard about all these child trafficking rings that were going on at Disney. And you're just sitting back going, we can't catch a break from Epstein. This is way more of a reason now that we should be releasing these Epstein files. All right, because there's just too many unanswered questions. And the fact that Maga remains silent, no conspiracy theories here. DJ, and I'll say this: any Trump supporter saying that Big Zeus or any of us on the left, we can't talk about stuff like this, like the results of the 2020 election. You've lost all credibility because y'all opened this door, W Zeus. Y'all opened this door, and when you open the door and we go through it, you're not going to like it. So then don't open it. Thank you. Good morning, user. I got to give it to myself, ladies and gentlemen. I got to give it to myself. I've never been able to silence MAGA like this. And so W Zeus, W Val, W Shay, all of you, you've done an outstanding job. We finally forced these folks to listen. Good morning, Val.
Yeah, they've been silent for a while.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ever since the e-files, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes, thank you. And I'm glad. Thank you, because we're not going to let it go. They want us to let go of the e-files.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the 218 people are now available for MAGA that wants to know. So now that's going to go. This is where the rubber meets the road. Okay, so now this is going to go to a vote. So I'd expect sometime within the next month this is going to go to a vote on the House floor. Okay, now MAGA, now it's your turn.
Yeah, do the right thing.
Do you want the e-files released? I'd be calling your House members. Okay, because when the Republicans sit in that House and don't think that anybody that wants these files released is not going to keep track of which one of these Republicans say no.
I'm keeping track. You're keeping track too, right? And the same with the Democrats. Do you care? Because, there's a secret video that supposedly came out, and they're saying, oh, Bill Clinton's all in it. Does that bother you if Bill Clinton's in there?
Throw him away. Don't care. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care that, I really don't care about, everything from the 1990s that he did. You know what I'm saying? Put him away.
Yep.
He's a president from actually 3 decades ago.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here wanting to bring him into every conversation. Well, you can, but I'm concerned with what's happening today.
Thank you.
The e-file, we have a president sitting in office. See, the difference with Bill Clinton is we didn't know everything Bill Clinton was involved in until after he left office.
Bingo.
right at the end of his term and after he left office.
Yep.
If we'd have known this ahead of time, he would have never been in office.
Yeah. We would have never. I would have never supported that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now these are the things that y'all don't take into account because critical thinking is a problem. So that's the first thing. So we don't really care.
Yeah.
What I care about is we have a man sitting in office. We have a lady, Ghislaine Maxwell, that has already been convicted, sit where those types of convicted people should be, and then moved to a minimum security prison that actually allows work.
Yeah.
Work release.
Yeah, they actually released a photo of her. Did you see this photo of her walking around out there? And I believe Virginia Giuffre, her brother, and them saw that, and they gave I think in Colorado they gave a plea for the files to be released because they're sitting back, and it's like re-traumatizing the victims all over again, watching her walk around, and enjoying the good life, so to speak.
Right, and then when his ex-attorney went up and questioned her, while he was questioning her, one of the things she said is that there's people in the cabinet that are on this list, that are in those files. She said that, and he walked right past it like she never said it.
DJ, you hear this, DJ?
Okay.
Where's your outrage, DJ? Because DJ said if he's in those files, he would stop supporting Trump, and I'm going to hold him to that. But it's already
DJ,
enough evidence.
if there's any doubt in anyone's mind that he's in these files, in a for real kind of way, if there's any doubt,
Yeah.
and I don't know, and I'm not saying what his role is in the files. I'm saying if there's any doubt that he's not all over these files, you've got to check yourself, because there's no doubt.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what I'm saying? I don't know where that comes from. And, thinking about it, speaking of critical thinking,
Thank you, Val.
I don't know. I don't know if it takes a brain scientist to actually realize that if you need a supply of young women, what would be the best thing to create?
A beauty pageant?
A beauty pageant for young women.
See, and I would brush that under the rug if we were in any other period of time, Val. But all these ties to these people in Trump's beauty pageant, what's his name? There's two, and then Epstein too, right? So we know RFK Jr. was tied to Epstein, right? Isn't that one of them? And then who's the other guy? I forget his name. Gosh, there's two people in his cabinet. I forget the one that always talks about the trade deals. What's his name?
Oh, I can't think of his
Yeah, I
name.
can't
I know
think.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm starting to question people that take, $50,000 bribes.
Tom Homan.
Tom Homan. I'm starting to question people like that.
Yeah.
I'm
Lutnick,
wondering
there
how
you
many-
are, Jim. There he is. Lutnick, there you Howard Lutnick. Yeah, those two.
Yeah, Howard Lutnick. But I'm starting to question people like that. What's his bro? $50,000 in a bribe on
That's
camera?
only people that do that are people breaking the law.
Right.
Right.
You
That's how I look at it.
I have
could be
questions.
wrong.
Like I said, Ghislaine Maxwell said people in that cabinet. I wonder how many of those people belong to the Heritage Foundation. I have questions like that. Those are things that are rolling around in my head. Because far be it from me to think that it might be somebody involved in a religious organization that might be involved in something like this. So
Yeah. Good morning.
these are the things that I think about sometimes. I'm like, hey, but yeah, we need to see these files. It is not going away,
Nope.
and someday we're going to see them,
Yeah.
and then y'all are going to have to answer for the support.
And I want full-throated apologies from all of you, because I imagine at least a good chunk, half of remember how many people did they say voted for Trump in the last election? What percentage of Americans did they say?
roughly almost right at 30%.
Okay, so 30% of those in this chat right now, they're Trump voters. That's the way I see it. I expect 30% or so of you to be in the box and issuing me, Val, Shay, Ange, Q Dog, Nutty, all of us an apology.
Right.
Because
The end result of this, and I've said this many, many, many times on this app,
yeah,
the end result of this is no matter how y'all want to view this, this is about harm to children. Harm to children. Y'all can't escape that. A lot of you people see these people on TV and you see adults right now.
yeah,
I want you to take that adult, close your eyes, and for those of y'all that have children,
yeah,
look your 13-year-old in the eye
yeah,
and say you don't want to see these files.
that part. While they're out here cosplaying, you know. And there's something else that I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to let the Epstein files go. I'm not going to let January 6th go.
No, January 6th is one of the worst days in American history. I mean, it truly does rank.
Yeah,
With
we
like
got to also, Val, and this might be one of the last things we could check in and talk about. We have to talk about Grindr.
Okay.
Because I see the Trump voters in here, and they don't want to come up here because that's going to be the very first question.
You
I
know,
ask them. What is your username?
You know, I'm not one to kink shame, right? I mean, to each, you know what I'm saying? To each their own, right? But it does say something about a group that does nothing but cry about the LGBTQI community. And every time they have a mass event for that same side, they break this app.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't get broken during the DNC.
No.
It didn't get broken during any of Kamala's rallies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It only gets broken during.
I'm talking, and you're not saying like goes down, broke like your back. W Zeus. I just thought of that.
But
seriously,
you can't make this stuff up. I mean, but we have a word for that on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? For some of us and those who know and those who come to my lives and stuff like that, we call it accufession. Mm-hmm. Okay, every accusation is a confession.
It's so sick and it's funny at the same time, Val. And it's really hard to take this serious, but you can't. I'm like, what kind of use are y'all putting in on this app where it's like as soon as we come into town, we booking hotels, we getting baby oil out, we're getting Grindr, and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna go so hard that this app crashes. And I'm like, it's so funny that none of the people in the Congress, they've never decided to bring the CEO of Grindr in and have him testify about what's going on. Have him or her, I don't know who it is, right?
I don't know. See, I don't know if I really want to know the amount of sales increase in a community for lubrication products on those days.
And they won't get up here and talk about it. That's why if I were, and I thought about it, Val, if I was trying to hide all of this from people, I would spend all day bashing the Democrats. That's the best thing to do than to come out and admit that I got a serious addiction.
See, here's the thing, guys. What you don't understand is as a Democrat and as a people that just want people to live their lives the way they want to live their lives, we don't care.
I actually think America would be a lot better of a country if these MAGA grinders would just own it and come on out of the closet, so to speak. Y'all could live in peace and harmony, do whatever you want to do. No one cares. Stop masking stop trying to mask your you called it kinks. Stop masking your kinks and go out here and love who you want to love.
Live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life. Hey, you only, it's an old saying, but it's true. You only get one, and it's not very long.
Yeah. Tell them. Thank you. MAGA grinders, right, Edge? Thank you. But listen, Val, I gotta move it on, brother.
Go right ahead, buddy. I know you gotta get out of here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Val a huge round of applause. And like when I see Gregory, I see Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom. I'm sitting there going, yeah, no wonder Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom likes to wear those tight little tank tops. He ain't doing it to show his muscles, right? Because he doesn't got the muscles. So what is this about? And I'm thinking like, okay, what's your username? What y'all out here advertising something. I'm not buying it. So number one, I'm not buying it, but you're advertising, you come in here, Tiny Tank Top Tim, there's over 1,000 people in here. I'm pretty sure your DMs are flooding with work. All right. But if you were to just live your truth, you would be able to get so much more. You wouldn't be struggling on that $50,000 a year, Tiny Tank Top Tim. If you would come out and live your truth, you'd probably be making over $100,000 because you would be considered hot product. W Zeus. There's some, but you could be, you are struggling. And Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom, you are struggling because you're not making over $500,000 a year, right? And there's folks out here that are pulling in that and more. So you're not able to get access to the things that they have access to. You have to, I get it. You're comfortable, swimming in the goldfish bowl. All right. And that works for you, but there's a whole ocean out here. All right. All righty then. Let's move it along. All right. I don't got all morning to play, but we're going to get as far as we can. 125 Lee Ave. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, how can I help you?
So I got a question.
Did you vote for Trump or no?
Come on now.
I don't know you. Do I know you?
No, you don't know me, but you probably see my. No, you don't know me. I ain't vote for him.
Okay, all right. I just got to double check because people get in here, bro, and then you see them. They play games with me, and I got to do my little bit of editing. But yeah, please go.
So Arizona just won their 7th district election, right?
Yeah.
The Democrat. So doesn't that make the that 218 to open up the Epstein file when she gets elected?
Right. That's the goal. That's the goal. They got the votes now. Yeah. So are you proud about that? Are you happy to hear that? Thank you.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. But then, with that being said, that means it's gonna be a heck of a decoy that's gonna go out now.
What do you mean?
To try to a decoy, like okay.
Where'd you go? I can't hear you, bro. Can y'all hear him?
Okay. Okay, so she got elected. We got elected.
So
what are we going to do now?
I just
heard hear me now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be like, what's the decoy he's going to use? Because this is big.
Yeah. Well, if you want my conspiracy mind to kind of go in that direction, I believe that as we continue to get closer to the truth about who's in those Epstein files, Donald Trump is going to behave like a cornered rat. Or you know what I mean?
Man, wild Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Tasmanian devil.
Anything. Because at that point, he's really going to be fighting for the presidency all over again. Because one thing's clear. If it is as bad as a lot of us suspect it is, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to do the full term. All right? And so this is and there's people that are also banking on him giving them pardons, right? At the end of all of this too. So this is I would actually say this is a national security matter.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's about to go bananas. It's about to get crazy.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, you're totally right. Well, listen, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. All right.
My man, you know it.
All right, and come on back, ladies and gentlemen. 125 Lee Ave. No lies detected. You see how this works, ladies and gentlemen? It is really not that difficult to get in the box and tell the truth and shame the devil. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we got? Good morning. Oh, Stick the Ruler. Welcome, bro.
Morning, Zeus. How you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, 33. There's no MAGA in here. There's no MAGA in here, 33. Get that, all right? Because they don't want to get up here and defend this stuff. All right, sorry about that, Stick.
No, you good, Zeus. It's your show. It's your kingdom. Handle your business.
Thank you.
This is the thing that we're dealing with right now. We just had the unaliving of those immigrants at one of those detention centers.
Right.
And, we don't really have any evidence. I don't know how we keep getting engraved ammunition and stuff like that, but we don't have any evidence, and we already have these fake TikTok creators already putting the narrative out. Oh, it was the left. It was the violent left. It was this. It was that.
Right.
So when faced with this, it's kind of like I'm home. I'm drinking my orange juice, eating my breakfast. I'm living this this mild life, and kind of like Clark Kent, But then I always have to turn into Superman and speak up when somebody says, I can't say it on your show, but you know what I'm talking about. That
Right.
horse,
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, or bull. It's just one of those things where I'm sick of it, Zeus.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Immediately like right now, I understand now there's going to be more violent things that happen in this country. And I understand also that prior to Trump, violence was happening, right? And after Trump, violence will continue to happen. But I also know anytime there's a violent situation that happens right now going forward, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Elon Musk, they will all be out here front and center spreading the narrative that it's the radical left, right? Is that kind of the way you see it?
Well, not only do I see it like that, but I see it as his minions. They do this. They follow their dear leader. They don't have the facts. You have a person's picture up. You don't have the name. You forgot the name. I'm not even going to say the content creator's name because I don't want to make them famous by me spilling the beans on them.
Smart.
But the whole point I'm trying to make is you guys get up here and you look dumb. Donald Trump has already told you smart people don't like him. You love him. So what does that say about you?
Processing power just went straight down the drain.
Are you serious? Yeah, are you serious? I always say I'm a movie buff and I like to compare things to movies.
Yeah.
Right now, what I see is a new Jason movie coming out. and the new Jason Voorhees is the victims of those Epstein files.
Oh.
Because no matter how fast you run, when you look back, guess what you're going to see? Jason.
Slicing and dicing.
When you look back, you fall over an unalived body. Guess what? Who's right behind you still? Jason. When you fall over that stump in the woods, guess who's right behind you? Jason. He's not going anywhere. He's gonna keep getting magic. He's gonna keep magically appearing. Whether you want to call him a victim because of how his story was, he was a victim. He had some sex crazed what do they call it? Counselors.
Yeah.
At Crystal Lake, they weren't paying attention. They were sex crazy, and he ended up drowning because they were too busy doing the bumping of uglies to realize that there's a kid drowning. So he somehow, some way, he magically comes back, Zeus, and chases every counselor down.
Sick.
And then not only does he do that, if you noticed, all the sinners are the ones that end up being unalived in the future Jason movies. Those grinder lovers and all of those people,
grinder lovers. Oh my God, we should. So in the Jason movie, you're gonna have the grinder. And what happens to the black Maga? Because what happens to the black folks in these scary movies? Do they get cooked first or do they get cooked at the end? How does it work?
Okay, so I've seen a couple of Jason movies, I think it goes all the way up to like 10 or something. Even Freddy versus Jason. And I gotta say Epstein was probably Freddy. Yeah. Because he wanted the kids. He didn't care about them being sex crazy or anything. He just wanted the kids. So going forward with this, Jason versus Freddy and all of that, Jason.
That's Trump versus Epstein. Right. Trump versus Epstein, sort of like Jason versus Freddy. I get it. Let's go.
Well, remember now, the victims are Jason because they're unstoppable. They keep coming back no matter how much they bring at them. No matter, they keep coming back. They want to be heard. You're not going to get away from me. Sick. Now they got Marjorie Taylor Greene on their side. So again, Jason is coming out. the woodworks.
Yeah.
And Freddie, he just didn't have a chance because the children figured out how to get Freddie. So again, it's just one of those situations where you got to see it for what it is, understand it, do the research, Maga, because again, I'm tired of being thrown in that bucket. And this guy that just recently did this in Houston, I've heard that he's an independent.
Wow.
So instead of you saying he was left, he was right, he's actually in the middle. This last guy.
Wow.
The thing with the ICE agents and the immigrant or the detainees. Yes, they said he was an independent. So for all you independents, if I got out there and I said, look what the independents are doing, they're out there unaliving people at mass, and they're doing this, and they're the violent independents. You see how that sounds, Zeus?
Yeah.
It's not good. It's just not good.
It sounds confusing and it sounds chaotic, but did you get to the place though? Black folks are getting cooked. Are they dying first in this scary movie? Yes or no? Because we have Blaga in the chat, and I want them to understand very clearly what's going to happen to them.
Oh well, sorry to say this, Blaga, but that guy that actually hung around those MAGAs and he was Blaga in those movies.
Yeah.
He was unalive first.
Thank you. All right.
In every movie.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Unalive first. No lies detected. All right, Stick. Well, listen, I gotta move it on, bro. All right, it's time for me to get up.
Yes, sir.
Here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Stick the rule.
You have a good day in the kingdom.
All right, you too. No lies detected. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you all can see, it's been an incredible show, but Big Zeus has to go. I'm so sorry, all right? Like I said, I got to start manipulating my schedule and maneuvering the workout, but I hope you all truly, truly enjoyed this show. I'll be back tomorrow. Same thing, all right? I think it'll be like this for Thursdays and Fridays going forward, but you know what? We'll get the most out of it. I would like to give a special thank you to all of you, the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists, because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. Entertaining, engaging, and definitely educational, right? Health is, well, thank you, Heaven. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame. And you know who this goes out to? This goes out to all the Zeus haters out there, and they know exactly who they are. They come in here, they screen record me, and they tremble. They're in fear because they know that I'm right and they're wrong. They know, unlike them, I don't have to regulate my opinion about how I feel about the sitting president of the United States out of fear of being, because if they do what they do, if they say something bad about Donald Trump, then the cult will come after them. I don't have that same fear as them. And so that's why they don't like me. But all I'm doing is telling them to get their head out of Donald Trump's diaper. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending them straight to hell. Goodbye, you Zeus haters. I'll be back tomorrow to give you more.
Silence, you MAGA Dayton.
All right, we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets.
California.
Like Elliot Ness, the track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest, like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex.
Have a great morning,
Sunshine State, where the bomb the state where you never find a dance floor empty.
Hope you all enjoyed the show.
On a mission for them greens, lean, mean, money making machines, serving fiends. I've been in the game for 10 years making rap tunes. Ever since Honeys was wearing Sassoon, now it's 95 when they clock me and watch me diamond shining, looking like I'm Rob Liberace. It's all good. Diego to the Bay, no city is
the
Pull
show.
my finger and feel the same way. Straight putting it down for California, yeah. West Coast. That's right.
Shout out to Governor Gavin Newsom. They can't do that in any other state, right? They can't do it like we do it in California. While they sitting out here trying to act like California ain't what it is.
Beach in the house, yeah. Oaktown, Oakland definitely in the house. Let's go, yeah, let's go. Ain't no LA up in this. Pasadena, where you at? Yeah, Inglewood, always up to no good. Even Hollywood trying to get a piece of that. Sacramento, where you at?
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your morning.